So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, which is all about what could further education look like from September 2020. And we've got some representatives from Solihull College and University Centre who are hosting and speaking on today's webinar. My name's Samantha Frampton. I'm the Membership Executive for Solihull Chamber of Commerce. And today, for today's webinar, I'm joined by John Callaghan, who's the Principal of Solihull College and University Centre. We've got Rosa Wells, who's the Director of Employment and Skills, and Nadia Davies, who's the SME Accounts Manager, Training Needs Analysis, who works in the college as well. Over the next 30 minutes, you'll hear from John, Rosa and Nadia, and they will talk about the short-term and the long-term effects of how the college have adapted and implemented plans to address these effects during COVID-19. Following the presentation, we will open the floor to question and answers. If you can please direct your questions into the chat box on the side. As I said, at the end of the presentations, we'll bring all the guests back, all the speakers back, and then we'll pose the questions to them for you. Just for a note, the webinar is being recorded, and following the recording, it will be edited and emailed out along with the slides from today's presentation to everybody who's joined on and registered for the webinar today. So what I'd like to do now is hand over to John Callaghan, who's the Principal of Solihull College and University Centre. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Sam. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be asked to talk a little bit about what the college's plans are. A little bit for those who don't know, it's 44 million turnover, over 1,000 staff on 3 campuses with up to 10,000 students. And when we had to lock down with very short notice, it really caused us to have to think about how we are going to be coming back and what this is going to mean in the longer term. There have been some real advantages, though, in that home working and certainly looking at the virtual meetings and using that with employers, apprenticeships and our own staff has definitely made me realise that when we do come back, we can actually still encourage quite a bit of home working. And we mustn't lose the lessons learned from the lockdown. So I'm looking at it from an advantage point of view here. Just simply for employers, we used to have lots of visits to employers' premises, visits to apprentices. We've done some really good and I think very worthwhile quality meetings on Teams where we've been able to, video record, look at evidence, talk to particular people. But the other thing, before this pandemic crisis, we did have a climate crisis. And it's really pricked my conscience now in that we ought to be looking to try and enable as many people as possible not to come into the college. So what's been happening since our close down? The college has been open. All campuses have still been open, albeit not to the public and students as such. But we've been busy carrying out all of our essential maintenance, our alarm systems, our lifts, our Legionella tests, etc. We've been working on capital. We've had £1 million capital given to us by the Department for Education about the IoT, but Rosa will talk to you about that at Woodlands. Stratford, we've been refurbishing 2 blocks ready for the opening in September. And then at Blossomfield, we've got a really exciting virtual simulator suite being installed at the moment on trial, where people will be able to come in and use the simulators to drive a heavy goods vehicle, a 360 excavator, one of those big massive trucks, roller dumpers. And the idea is, as HS2 kicking off, we want to try and get people through the virtual tests first before they go onto the proper plants. We've had LEP funding, which has enabled us to buy proper plants, so the proper excavators, with a company called RMF at Hounsfield Lane at the bottom end of Solihull. And we'll be taking people through the simulating as you would do with an aircraft, and then putting them onto the real machines to get them straight into the HS2 supply chain, because we think that's a massive gain for us. We're expanding an awful lot on our IT systems and digital. And when we come back, we are not expecting all staff and all students to return. But what we will have is a blended learning approach where we will have students and staff on premises for certain times. And then in other times, we'll be looking at an online delivery model. For practical subjects such as bricklaying, catering, electricians, that sort of thing, it's not practical to do all of that online. So we will be bringing students in, we'll be bringing staff in to do those particular assessments. We're clearly looking at government guidance because we need to make sure it's all safe, it's all been properly risk assessed, and that we control the virus. But our plan is not to do it virtual because we don't think that would work. So it will be a blended learning approach moving forward. And I think before any further ado, really, the messages from me is how can we use this now to actually really make a positive statement about climate change, about people coming in cars, about people working more flexibly and enhancing the digital skills that we've all been forced to learn. And actually, in some cases, it's proved to be a really positive learning experience. And then when do we need that face-to-face contact where students need to come in and get the assessments, etc.? And that's what we're working out at the moment. So we are quite positive moving forward. We clearly are concerned. We've got to maintain our professionalism and make sure that we keep everybody as safe as humanly possible. But we do anticipate the college opening full in September. But we will be looking at a much more innovative, flexible curriculum in case we ever have to lock down again. So we're going to be really working hard to ensure our premises are safe and our flexible delivery is safe. But I think that's enough from me. I think I'd now like to hand over to Rosa, who will talk you through the next set of slides. Thank you.
Hello, thanks, John. So we're going to just talk through a few things that we think would be useful for our employers going forwards. As John said, we've continued to deliver to our students and to our apprentices as we move through this current the issues that we're currently having. So we just wanted to show you some of the things that you can do to engage with us, engage with our students, and support you as employers. So we've got, first of all, a specialist project that we're launching. So this was approved just as we went into lockdown in March. This is our Institute of Technology, led by Solihull College and University Centre, but a really collaborative project across the region. So we're working with engineering and manufacturing to support those sectors, obviously really key sectors in the region, struggling at the moment, looking to get back online and get back into their plants and manufacturing lines. So this project is really exciting. We're actually meeting with our employers this afternoon to get an update on how they're doing. So Salt, Bosch, Continental Engineering Services, Hydroforce and Alucast. So this is a collaborative programme that we're working with all of our sort of stakeholders and education partners across the region. We really want to inspire the next generation to look at engineering and manufacturing as a really exciting career, try and bust some of those myths about what it might be like and show them what it can be really like. And then look at attracting our underrepresented groups. So we find that engineering and manufacturing is not as popular with girls and other sort of cultural groups maybe don't look at it and understand what's available there. So we're really looking at how we can improve that. And then making sure that our employers can come to us and fill those skills gaps that they have and make sure that we've got opportunities to improve skills, find routes through, make vocational engineering more clear and transparent. And finally, investing. So we have had some investment from the Department for Education in the region of £9 million, which we're currently spending across 4 campuses. So at one of our campuses and then at colleges and university campuses as well. And we'll have a central hub in the middle of Birmingham. Parents, employers, schools, students can just pop in and have a chat and find out what they can do and how we can help. So we're really excited about that, and work is underway during this period to make sure that we carry on with that investment and create really exciting campuses for our engineering students across the region. Okay, I'm going to have a go at switching to the next slide. Okay, so some of the more general projects that we've got, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of them, and then Nadia's going to go into a bit more of the specifics. So we have here our Business Elevator project. We've been running this project for 3 years with our college partners, South City College, Birmingham and BMet College. We've worked with around 400 SMEs and micro businesses and supported even more of their employees to engage in skills training. So apprentices, short courses and general advice. So Nadia is one of our business advisors on this project, and we just found out last week that we'll be getting another 3 years worth of European funding to keep this project going. So we're really excited about taking this to the next stage, thinking about how the project will develop at the moment, and how we can work with employers while they may not be in work, and what we can do in the short term to help employers, and then in the longer term as well, and to continue this project, which has been really exciting. And we have a new project which is called STEM Up. That's led by Birmingham City University, but we are the key delivery partner for that programme. So that's just started this month, and we're really excited to get out there and offer personalised one-to-one skills analysis for your employees or for yourselves. So we'll have a team of skills needs analysts. We'll have 2 at the college, at Aston University and Birmingham City University will have them as well. And we really want to talk to people who are looking at their professional development plans, thinking about something that might be missing, and just want a bit of advice and a mentor and somebody that can help them. We can link you through to workshops, courses and programs that are fully funded, and at the same time you'll have this one-to-one support from our skills need analyst, who will come back to you and check how things are going, and work with you on perhaps how you can show yourself off to the best of your abilities, and look at what it is that you could do to develop yourself in the short term through our guidance. So we're looking forward to launching that and to hearing from anybody that's interested in getting involved, and we can't wait to get recruiting with our new skills need analyst to work alongside Nadia and the brilliant work that she's been doing. So I'm going to hand over to Nadia, and she can explain a bit more about some of the things we've got on offer at the moment.
Thank you, Rosa. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is well. First of all, I just want to talk a little bit about working collaboratively with businesses. As a college and university centre, our vocational purpose has always been to develop the skills that are required by employers, both the soft skills and the technical skills. We recognise that our new world, amidst and post-COVID-19, are going to look and feel very different, and we must emerge with a dynamic and adaptable approach. Many industries will be transformed as a result of these unprecedented times, and we recognise that this will impact significantly on both your current and your future workforce. In response to this, many businesses may need to upskill their existing employees and require them to adjust to new ways of working. As a college, we are no exception to this, and we are committed to providing an educational service that meets your needs. So our plans are to continue working really, really closely with you. It's just that the way we all work now is going to be slightly different, but we're going to do it together. There is a changing landscape, and labour market intelligence suggests that when industry starts to regain some normality, that the way that businesses work is going to be very different. Many organisations are going to be interested now in developing reliable contingency plans in case something similar happens again. So remote working, as John alluded to, is something which I imagine lots and lots of businesses are now taking a new perspective on. Automation, more just-in-time inventory management, enabling people to work more efficiently, less waste, and be much more time effective. More domestic manufacturing, so to keep more of what we're doing within the United Kingdom. More remote connectivity, and I think we're all aware now, we've all got new skills, how much more we can do remotely. There's going to be much more going on in the world of medical research capacity, and certainly more in response to climate control. I've got a little caption here from something which Andy Street said last month about the new skills that are going to be required when we do emerge in specific sectors, and some of the skills shortages that we're expecting to have as well. Okay, moving on. So If the world's changing and you're changing and we're changing, the skills are changing too. And one of our jobs is to be able to develop the right skills. We know that many employers who have job vacancies are often find it a struggle to recruit due to skills mismatches, specifically in areas of medical and scientific laboratories and healthcare. We also recognise that now there may be many skilled workers who have since this crisis have now become unemployed and who will ultimately be seeking to find work within these areas. Many of these workers have all of the soft skills that are required, along with the willingness and the ability to learn new technical skills. We'd really like to hear from you if you're in an industry or sector that are struggling to recruit the skills that you need. It's very, very likely that if you're struggling, other similar organisations will be struggling too. And we need this type of feedback from you to ensure that we maintain a training offer that gets people into work. So, in support of helping these individuals and also many new graduates who are looking to find employment, we're planning to create some remote skills labs, which will provide a 6-week fast-track route into industry, enabling some of these people who are already highly skilled to fill some of your vacancies and be much, much more able to hit the ground running in their roles. Okay, not forgetting here the importance of valuing and upskilling your existing workforce, as well as thinking about those new recruits and new roles that you might have. And we've got a number of ways in which we can work with you to achieve this. We have a very broad distance learning offer, whereby we've got 37 fully funded qualifications available. There's a snapshot of these. I've tried to get a snapshot of something which might appeal to all of you today on the screen, just to give you an idea. All of these courses offer the flexibility that are required by most adults who are already busy trying to maintain a work-life schedule. Some people now doing homeschooling, etc. These are ideal for employees to update their existing knowledge in specific subject areas, for them to develop some new skills, and also to increase their confidence and develop their CPD portfolio. Each of these qualifications can be studied from the comfort of somebody's own home, and all assessments are marked remotely, so there's no need to come into college at all. The duration of the courses varies from 4 to 16 weeks, and the exact amount of hours varies too. Sometimes people say to us, how many hours can I expect to have to put in order to achieve one of these qualifications? And it depends a lot on what their prior knowledge is, how confident they are, what their learning style is, and how much time they've actually got available. Each qualification is certificated and nationally accredited. Learners who are eligible for funding, they're not restricted to one qualification. I know we started working with a few organisations at the beginning of lockdown, and their staff have now completed one qualification, are now in the zone and have already moved on to a second, which is absolutely great. But you can only be enrolled on one at a time. Students who enrol on a distance learning programme, they enrol online. They then receive a set of learning resources through the post, which has 2 different types of workbooks. The workbooks which contain the content and the learning and activities for learning, and the other workbooks which are question and answer for the student to be able to demonstrate in their own words their understanding and application of their new knowledge. These assessments are marked remotely and the student receives written feedback. There's a full list of these qualifications available on our website. And to be eligible for funding, learners must be age 19 or over, not already in funded education, including higher education, And if you do live outside the Midlands, then you are subject to a postcode check. So if in doubt, always ask. We've also got an online offer to continue on the theme of supporting and valuing your existing workforce. You can browse these online using the link shown on screen. So it's eCareers at solihull.ac.uk. And by signing, I've just noticed actually there's an error. It should be eCareers at solihull.ac.uk. I can confirm that afterwards if anybody wants a direct link. By accessing this area on our website, you can actually drill down into each category, and I've listed the categories here on this slide. So these are just the category headings, and within each one of these are a suite of courses that you can choose from. And these are really, really good for addressing very specific gaps that you might have in your organisation, such as how to appraise employees, sales fundamentals, dealing with challenging customers, and using Microsoft programs. And each of these courses or qualifications gives an overview of the key learning points and also explains whether or not there are any end assessments. So the best thing to do with these is to log onto the website, have a look under online learning, have a look around in a category that you're interested in, and dip in and out to see which of the courses there you think are best going to meet your needs or the needs of your employees. In the majority of cases, our online learners have access to their course material for up to a year, which is great because it means that they can dip in and out, again, having the flexibility to do their learning around their busy lifestyle. And just one other thing for me to mention with regards to online learning, we've had some support from the West Midlands Combined Authority, which has enabled us to provide a range of level 1 construction courses, which are also online. And these include subjects such as fire safety, manual handling, PPE, and working at heights. So from our main website, that's the online learner tab, where you can then filter down either into construction courses or the course categories shown on screen. That's all from me. I hope that's given you an idea of all the things that we're trying to do to keep up with you. Just as a very final point, please do keep in touch with us. It's really, really important that what we're offering provides the skills that you need in your employees. So we do rely on that, on the input from you. Tell us what you need and we'll be as accommodating as we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadia, John and Rosa. I'm just going to ask all of our presenters if they can come back in to the webinar, to the chat, and what we'll do, we'll have a look at some Q&As and some questions that are coming through from the delegates at the moment. Just wait for John to join. We've got John. John, are you there? Excellent. Okay, so question then. So many Solihull businesses have enjoyed coming into college to visit and present to various classes and on various subjects. The desire is still there to do so. Can you see that this will be possible from September onwards with any... Hello? Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So, well, John and Rosie, you'll be able to see the chat in the column on the right-hand side as well, if you can see. Yeah, thank you. So, obviously, the question is about, obviously, the guests and visitors that you have coming to the college who speak, guest presenters and guest speakers who speak to various classes on different subjects. So, the question is, do you see a desire to still be there? And then can also, from September, would it be possible for them to come into the college, and what are your procedures and processes that you've put in place to enable this to take place?
Yes, I mean, I think guest presenters and industrial specialists add a richness to our curriculum offer. But I think what we would concentrate on would be to just get our staff and students organised first. We might delay some of the guest lecturers to a bit later on in the year, because clearly we just want to make sure that all of the measures we've put in place work and that we're confident with them, and then we can allow more people to come into the college. But yes, absolutely. And you know, clearly we'd be following government advice, and we'd be making sure that we take the necessary precautions as such. But yes, you know, industrial specialists, people in the industry, invaluable to us.
So from Nadia and Rosa, then I suppose more so to Nadia.
I think that's the only question. I was just going to say hello to Serena from Coalbridge Trust. We know how hard you're working at the moment with the funding we allocate you in order to get people into work. So I've seen your some of your case studies came through yesterday, so really exciting work. So Coalbridge, working in the Chelmsley Wood area, one of our partners, and Serena's on the line. They're working so hard at the moment with those people in Chelmsley Wood to work with them and get them into work. So really good to hear those stories coming through as well.
That's really good. Thanks, Rosa. And John, you've got a campus, haven't you? The college have got a campus over Chelmsley Wood Way, and that's still been open, hasn't it? That with some of the construction.
Don't know if you've got any other questions. Anyone else? Oh, there's Serena's typing.
So yes, all campuses have been open. So Woodlands, we've just done built a large brick external workshop. We're now building an electrotech workshop to train electricians inside, where the old brick workshop used to be, and then we're converting two engineering workshops, and the old electrotech workshops into a big area, which will put the new IoT equipment in. I mean, part of the reason for starting to put some of the disciplines outside is actually to get them work ready. So, you know, bricklayers will be working out in the fresh air, in the main, in the car parks, in the outside areas of the college. And then we have a big sort of like industrial type shed then where we can do particular other aspects, because clearly we want to make it as close as possible. And then they're linking in a number of our apprentices working with house builders such as Persimmon. We've got our RMF, our construction people that we're just putting them into the supply chain with as well.
No, that's great. We've just had a question come through from.
I think Grace has asked what it's going to look like for new students in September. We're working that through, aren't we? And working through all of the risk assessments and looking at how we can do that safely for students and staff at the moment. Yeah.
So I think as we looked before, it would be some sort of blended learning approach where we wouldn't allow all the students on site at the same time. But what we're doing is we're looking at how we can manage that. Because clearly, if 2 meter distance is still in there, we've already worked out what the capacity is in each of the classrooms, and we'll limit the class sizes to that. And we'll have to have a fairly flexible flipped curriculum where it might be a morning in, afternoon out. It could be 1 week in, 1 week out. Depending on the curriculum area, we're allowing them to come up with the ideas, and they're going to report back to us on June the 1st as to how they think the curriculum could work moving forward.
That's great, John. Rose, I'm not too sure if you can hear me. That's all the questions that have come through.
I think that's all of the questions that we've got at the moment. Don't know if anyone else has got anything they'd like to ask.
I'm not so sure. Rosa, can you hear me? Nadia, if you can hear me, could you give fabulous. Can you just give us an update on the numbers then that have signed up to the online course?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm aware that at the end of last week, I think we'd had certainly I think, unless anyone has a more specific update than me, between at least 300 and 500 learners, but they're coming in all the time. Lots and lots of people. We've made these offerings available now on our website, and we're inundated daily with questions from individuals. I, at the beginning of lockdown, had a number of conversations with local businesses who were making the most of the opportunity for having staff furloughed to help them to keep busy and focus on their learning. And at the moment, most of the businesses who I'd spoken to at the beginning, their learners are now in learning and are all quite busy. And as I say, some have started to now move on to a second course, which is absolutely fantastic. But I'm probably going to say, because my update was last week, around about 500, unless Rosa is aware of any difference.
No, I think that sounds about right. I know we've had a lot of interest in the last couple of weeks, haven't we? The interest has gone up. So, oh, there we go. Ollie's replied over 1,300 on distance learning programs.
Right.
Oh wow, it's come on considerably then. Because the inquiries do come in from different areas as well, so it's quite difficult to keep on top of how many are signed up at any one time.
No, that's really good.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
no, it's working really well, and the team are always looking at what they can offer and making sure that distance learning program is fit for purpose, as you've said, Nadia, taking on board feedback from employers where if there's something we can put on that we don't currently offer, and we're always looking at new ideas.
Yeah, well, there's a couple that I'm exploring at the moment, which I think might be a really, really valuable addition to our existing list. And what I will do is I'll make sure that we tweet from our Solihull Biz account with any additional offerings that we have, so that I'm keeping everybody updated as to what's available.
No, that's great.
Okay, I've got a question from Emma about work experience for September. Yeah, so I think it is just looking at what different options we can provide. At the moment, it's really about contingency planning. So we need to have different options and be able to move between them according to what's sort of going on. So as John said, we may need to lock down again, and we know some of our businesses might need to lock down. Equally, it depends on the sector. So we're waiting for a big update around the 1st of July for things like our hairdressers and those areas of business. So yeah, so it's a plan really, and it's a plan A, a plan B, C and D, and really just making sure we can do everything we can to make sure our students have some work experience, whether it's virtual or actually in the workplace, and how they can do that safely if they are going into workplaces. Yeah.
I think just to reinforce that message, we're not going to be expecting employers to be taking the students on straight away. So I think we'll look at it very much on the basis Rosa has said. But I think our initial planning, events like that, we're going to just make sure everything works, that all our risk assessments are working, that there are no cases of infections in the college. We've got to keep a close eye on this, and then I think we can start then branching out a little bit, but it is incremental steps at the moment, and we wouldn't be expecting employers to do that. But however, we'll look at every case on its merit, because if we're satisfied that there's it's all in line with government advice and everybody's happy and mutually consenting to it, we wouldn't stand in the way either.
Yeah, and probably just to add to that, obviously we're working with our apprentices, so we have around 900 apprentices at the college working across a variety of sectors. Some have been able to keep working from home, some are furloughed, some are working even harder than they've ever worked before in our NHS trusts and other key sectors. So we're just working with those as well, and make sure that they're continuing to be supported with their training as much as we possibly can. And we are still taking on new apprentices, so it is only small numbers at the moment, but we have had new apprentices starting, some working from home or some able to safely go into work and work with social distancing measures in place. So that's still going ahead. So please talk to us if you are thinking about work apprentices. We're really keen to look at how we support 16 to 18-year-olds leaving school and the questions that they have about next steps. And we know some of their opportunities might be reduced in September. So we're looking to offer courses for our 16 to 18-year-olds in the college and make sure they're prepared to move into apprenticeships as soon as businesses are ready to take them. But we can still enrol apprentices with you if that's something that's going to help you in your business and something you think you can support people, residents with.
Cool. Thanks, Rosa. So I'm not too sure if Rosa can hear me, but we just to finish off then. So I'll just let Rosa know, because I think we're struggling with sound. So from the chamber point of view,
questions. That's like Sam's typing.
yeah. So Rosa, you can't hear me. I will finish. So yeah, so I'm just going to thank obviously our guest speakers today, John, Rosa and Nadia. I think it's a relevant webinar that we wanted to host for the borough, and obviously parents and businesses out there who are everyone's going through this at the moment. And obviously with certain schools going back now, and each local authority making the decision on when schools go back, it's useful to know what the colleges and our further education looks like for myself, who's a parent of an 18-year-old, to also the teachers and lecturers who work in the colleges as well. From a chamber perspective, we are still here. We're supporting our members. That's not stopped. As I said, I'm a relationship manager for Solihull, so we're continually working with the businesses, working still closely with the schools and the colleges. That's members of the chamber. And you'll see a list of some of our support options there. Obviously, events have had to be put on hold, so we're doing a lot more on social media and trying to get a lot more engagement, live engagement from businesses going forward. And my final slide for the day, if I can just move it across. Oh, Grace, can you just go to the next slide, please? It's just a list of my email address and just some upcoming webinars, I think quite relevant again with what's going on. Wednesday the 27th of May, it's being hosted by Lichfield and Tamworth, as it says how the charity sector's responded to COVID. Thursday the 28th by the Asian Business Chamber, what does it take to get into corporate supply chains, and that's being hosted by the University of Birmingham. And on Friday the 29th of May, an introduction to the armed forces, and again that's being hosted by the Asian Business Chambers of Commerce. Today's webinar, as I mentioned at the beginning, it has been recorded and it will be shared along with the relevant slides to all those delegates that have taken part today. Again, one big thank you to Solihull College and University Centre for taking the time out to prepare and to speak on today's webinar. And thank you to everybody who's joined in the webinar today and contributed to our Q&A. Hopefully you'll have the rest of the afternoon and enjoy the sunshine. So take care and thank you very much. Goodbye.